Assalamu alaikum dear students. First lecture topic is estimation. I'm sure you all are familiar with the idea of sampling, its types, probability sampling and non-probability sampling, and also some concepts of sampling techniques just like sample design, bias, precision and accuracy, parameters, statistic, sampling frame and so on. Before mid we have learned and explained how sampling theory can be used to obtain information about samples drawn at random from a known population. However, the populations are often not known completely. We therefore obtain information about a population by the use of samples drawn from the population. Such problems are dealt with in statistical inference. Statistical inference is the art of drawing conclusion or inferences about the population from the limited information contained in the sample. Two important areas of statistical inference are estimation and testing of hypothesis. The procedure of making judgment about a population parameter from a sample statistic is referred to as statistical estimation or simply estimation. Estimation is further divided into point estimation and interval estimation. Estimation theory is a procedure of guessing properties of population. The object of estimation is to determine the approximate value of population parameter on the basis of sample statistic. An estimator is a rule used, usually a formula that tells you how to calculate the estimate based on the sample. Just like when you calculate the arithmetic mean, then arithmetic mean will be the estimator. Topic we will discuss in this lecture are point estimate and interval estimate. The object of point estimation is to be obtained a single number from the sample which will represent the unknown value of the population parameter. A statistic used to estimate a population parameter is called a point estimator. So point estimator is a single value or a single number which will represent the unknown population parameter. In interval estimation, we estimate an interval of statistic within which the population parameter may be expected to lie. Statistic means the sample values, or the population parameter means the population values, the characteristics of the population. So we will find an interval of estimates and guess that the population parameter may be expected to lie within a certain degree of confidence. For example, we suppose that we want to estimate the mean summer income of a class business students. So point to estimate will be n is equal to 25. If the students will be 25, so then the n will be equal to 25 students, and it is calculated as $400 per week. Or in interval estimate, an alternative estimate is the mean income is between $380 and $420 per week. Students, in estimation, to estimate the value of unknown population parameter, we have a technique, sampling theory or sampling techniques, in which sample size is important to find out the sample estimates. So first we will discuss in detail about the factors that influence the sample size, that because we should be very careful in selecting the sample size. So the factors that influence the sample size are your cost, because the purpose of sampling is to save the cost, labor, money and time. So in selecting the sample size, you must consider the cost. Then the administrative concerns. The persons who are designing the sample procedure, then the minimum acceptable level of precision, confidence level, variability within the population or subpopulation. Subpopulation means stratum or clusters of interest, and sampling method. So these 4-5 things are more important in sampling techniques for selecting the sample size, and these points also influence the sample size, because as accurate the sample size will be, as accurate the sample estimates will be. So before selecting the sample size, we should consider these few points. Going back to the point of estimation of sample points, we are discussing now the point estimation, and in point estimation a single number is calculated to estimate the parameter. This number is represented mostly by theta. So if we define the point estimate, then its definition will be that the point estimate is obtained by selecting a suitable statistic and computing its value from the given sample data. The selected statistic is called the point estimator of theta. Theta is the point estimate. A point estimate of unknown parameter theta is a statistic theta hat that represents a guess at the value of theta. And in point estimation, if we see the parameters, parameter means the characteristics of the population. So in statistical inference, the term parameter is used to denote a quantity, say that is a property of an unknown probability distribution. Parameters are unknown, and one of the goals of statistical inference is to estimate them. This whole procedure of sampling techniques and estimation is about finding the estimates or the values which will represent the population parameters more accurately and perfectly. To find the point estimate of population mean, the point estimate of population mean is represented by mu, and the sample mean is represented by the x bar, y bar, or the small values. So it's the formula in statistics for finding the mean or the average value is sum of x over n, where sum of x means the sum of all observations and n is the number of the values. So the data is given a sample of weights of 34 male freshman students was obtained. 185, 161, 174, 175, 202, 178, 202, 39, so on up till 176. If one wanted to estimate the true mean of all male freshman students, you might use the sample mean as a point estimate for the true mean. So then what we will do, we add up all the values 185, 161 till 194 plus 176, and we divide the sum of all values with 34, because the number of males are 34, and we got the sample mean x bar is equal to 182.44. So this is a point estimate because it is representing only one single value, and we take it as a true representative of the population parameter mean mu. So the properties of good estimates are unbiased. We have discussed in the previous slide. Unbiased means the every value of the estimator equals the parameter to be estimated. Next, good qualities of an estimator should be minimum variance. If of all the unbiased estimators, the best estimator has a sampling distribution with the smaller standard error. Standard error is the standard deviation of the sampling distribution. So the estimator, point estimator, is the good estimator which is unbiased, and it should have a minimum variance. Dear students, you are familiar with the, I'm sure, with the qualities of a good estimate, and one of those qualities is the bias. Estimate should be biased, or the condition for the bias is that our estimated sample mean or point estimate, in other words, our estimated point estimate will be equal to the population parameter theta hat. If both our values are equal, then the estimates are known to be unbiased, and if there is a difference, estimated population parameter between estimated parameter theta and population parameter, then this is known as bias. So for the considering the qualities of a good estimate, our population estimate, point estimate, should be unbiased. That means that it should be equal to the population parameter, and if both are not equal, then there must be some value between which will be the difference between them, and that value is known as bias. So the statisticians are always in search of unbiased point estimates for the population parameter. So this condition is very important and necessary. If we consider all unbiased estimators of theta, the one with the smallest variance is called the minimum variance unbiased estimator, MVUE. Discussing estimation, it has two types: point estimation, which we have discussed in the previous slides, and now we will see little bit discuss about the interval estimation. In the interval estimation, we have a range of values among which we expect that the population parameter will lie. So because we have a range of values, so there is a chance of less chance of rejecting the hypothesis. An estimation of a population parameter given by two numbers between which the parameter may be called as an interval estimation of the parameter. For example, we say that a distance is 5.28 feet, then we are giving point estimate, and on the other hand we say the distance is between 5.28 to 0.03 feet, then it means the distance lies between 5.25 and 5.31 feet. So we are giving an interval of estimate in which we have two values, a range of values from 5.25 till 5.31. A statement of the error or precision of an estimate is often called its reliability. It means that the statement which we make about our estimate is called precision, or if a range of values used to estimate a population parameter is known as interval estimation or estimation by confidence interval, and the interval A, the minimum value of the interval, and B, the maximum value of the interval, that will include the population parameter with a high probability of 0.9, 0.95 or 0.99% is known as confidence interval. The 90%, 95% and 99% confidence interval shows that we are 95%, 90% and 99% confident that our computed interval does in fact contain the unknown population parameter. So let's see if mu is the population parameter, and sigma is the population, mu is the population parameter and population mean, and sigma is the population parameter and population standard deviation. Be the mean and standard deviation of the sampling distribution of statistic S. Then if the sampling distribution of S is approximately normal, we can expect to find S lying in the interval mu S, sigma S to mu S plus sigma S, 2 sigma s to mu s plus 2 sigma s and 3 sigma s to mu s plus 3 sigma s, about 68.27%, 95.45% and 90.73% of the time respectively. Now we can easily define the confidence limits. The end numbers of these intervals s plus minus sigma s or s plus minus 2 sigma s and s plus minus 3 sigma s are called the 68.37%, 95.45% and 99.73% confidence limits, while the confidence level will be s plus minus 1.96 sigma s and s plus minus 2.58 sigma s, and 95% are 95% and 99% will be 0.95 and 0.99 confidence limits. For mu s, the percentage confidence is often called confidence level. The critical values 1.96, 2.58 in the confidence limits are called critical values, which we calculate by Z tables or Z values. Here the critical values are given from the Z table. At 99.7% we have critical value 3, at 99% we have 2.58 and so on. At 68.27% we have critical value 1. Regarding to confidence intervals, we calculate the confidence intervals for means, confidence intervals for proportion and confidence intervals for difference and sum. For the confidence intervals for means, we see how to create confidence intervals for the mean of a population using two different cases. First case shall be when we have a large sample size, n is greater than 30, and second case shall be when we have a small sample size, n is less than 30 and the underlying population must be normal. In case of large samples n greater than 30, for the 95% confidence interval and 99% confidence interval, we have the confidence interval x bar plus minus 1.96 sigma x and x bar plus minus 2.58 sigma x, where 1.96 is the critical value, x bar is the sample mean, sigma is the population standard deviation, and similarly 2.58 is also the critical value at 99% confidence interval. The previous formula was for when sampling is done with replacement, and if sampling is done without replacement, then we know that the correction factor 1 over n into n minus n over n minus 1 is included into the confidence interval. So when the sampling is without replacement, the confidence interval will be x bar plus minus z, the critical value 1.96 or 2.58, and sigma is the population standard deviation, n is the sample size, capital N is the population size and means the number of values, and small n is the sample size, and n minus 1 whole square root. Till now the cases we discussed for estimation, we consider the population normal and the sample size large, and the population parameters or population characteristics are known, means the population size is known, the population standard deviation is known, and so on. Now here the situation is maybe the sample size will be small, or the population will be approximately normal and the population is not well defined. So in these three cases, when sample size is small and the population is not well defined and the population parameters are unknown, instead of z test or z critical values, we use the t-test or the t-distribution. So the confidence interval then will be converted from z to t. So for small samples for n less than 30 and population approximately normal, we use the t-distribution to obtain the confidence levels. For example, if t is 0.975 and are the values of t-distribution for which 2.5% of the area lies in the each tail of the t-distribution, then the 95% confidence interval for t is given by minus t of 0.975 is less than x bar minus mu into n square root over s estimated standard deviation from the sample values less than t of 0.975.